Friend and colleague Mia Scheid is an inspiration to her patients. Frankly, she inspires me because she not only understands wellness, she truly lives it. She has more than 25 years of experience in various disciplines of fitness and healthcare practices and holds so many certifications, it's almost impossible to name them all. Here's Mia Scheid to inspire you about the 4 pillars of wellness.
The message that I try to convey to all patients is very simple. There are 4 pillars, basic pillars of health that must be complied to before anything else can work. So whether you're trying to lose weight or you're an athlete trying to perform a little bit better or you have some chronic pain, that the first pillar and most important after air would be water. Our bodies are just water and particle, and every system of the body, whether it's skin and we don't want wrinkles, or whether we want to be able to digest and have proper elimination, water is required. And then we think about how much water is necessary, and most people are really underestimating the need for water. When you think about that, we need 2 liters of water. Our lungs need 2 liters of water just to breathe. Then we have to calculate, are we drinking 4 16-ounce bottles of water? And most people don't do that, so we're already at a deficit for water. Water helps with anti-aging. That's the #1 anti-aging protocol is water, hydration. When we lack water, our skin, the largest organ in our body, begin to dehydrate. And that's where you get the dry skin, that's where you get the small fine lines begin here. Also, I work with Olympic athletes, and sometimes they call me up and say, I have a big meet, what am I going to do? How can I perform a little bit better? And I always ask the question, are you hydrated? Because it is the #1 performance enhancer. It's also the supplement, if you will, that prevents them from being injured, that prevents them from being sore, so that they can compete the next day. Water is absolutely essential, and it's one of those pillars that you can't avoid in order to reach your health goals. The second pillar of health is movement or exercise. Our bodies are designed physiologically for movement, and we know that if we don't, we atrophy, and lots of bad things can happen from that. Now, one thing that most people don't know is that we have 4 times the lymph fluid, the clear liquid, than blood. So we have something called the heart that pumps the blood through our bodies and that circulates it, but the lymph system does not have a pump. So the lymph system is only pumped when we continuously move our muscles. And so yes, the secondary effect of increasing circulation and preventing heart disease, those are important too. But that primary reason for moving 20 to 30 minutes a day is so that we can completely circulate our lymphatic system. And the lymphatic system is the immune system. That's the place where the body will trap pathogens from going further, deeper into our bodies. So the third pillar of health is rest and sleep. Most of us don't get enough rest, and we certainly don't get it in the time frame that we need. And we're bombarded with information. There's a lot going on, and it's easy not to want to go to sleep because you want to get one more thing done. But the most important part to remember about sleep is that you need restful sleep at the time you need it, at the time the body needs it. And the body clock wants us to be sleeping by 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. And that's where all the visceral organs, our heart, our lungs, our kidneys, all of the detox organs come to play and to repair. And so 10 to 2 is the most important time. It's better than if you were to sleep from midnight to 6. So for every hour that you miss from 10 to 2, you need 2 hours. So it's 2 to 1 ratio. And one of the most important things about resting is that without having deep sleep, without having the deep rest, you can't have a dynamic day. It is what sets us up for a dynamic day where we feel rested when we wake up and we're able to think about, what do I want to do, versus, boy, I'm tired, I wish I had a couple hours to sleep. The fourth and final pillar of health is nourishment. And nourishment speaks to not just what we eat, even though that's a big part of it. What we eat should be clean, it should be the way God intended it to be. It shouldn't be processed. A potato out of the earth is not the same potato in a potato chip. So we all know that. But nourishment also speaks to our sense organs. What we see, what we hear, what we smell. Are we being touched? Are we touching? All of those are nourishment, or it could actually be a detriment. If we look at a beautiful painting, there's a corresponding chemical that releases through our body, and it upregulates our health. Whereas if I go home and listen to somebody yell at me and tell me that I'm no good, then obviously those chemicals will also release, and it will be to the detriment of my health. And so it's really about nurturing yourself through these different sense organs. So if I have a clean home, that's much better than a messy home. If I eat clean foods, that certainly is going to give me more nourishment than if I don't. So those are things that we really can take care of, and it's nothing that a healthcare provider can give you. You have to take that on yourself and say, what about my life can I take control of? And in this nourishment part, you really have to assess, how am I eating? What is it that I'm eating? And then number two, what about my sense organs? What am I dripping into my bloodstream? What kind of chemicals, what kind of enzymes am I putting into my body? Because my body has to process every single chemical, every single bit of food that we put into our bodies. And it requires change, it requires thought. But in order to be healthy, in order to have autonomy in our health, we have to fill those 4 pillars. So the 4 pillars of health are hydration, drinking 4 liters of water a day. Second part of it is the circulation, moving 20 to 30 minutes daily so that our lymphatic system can be completely circulated and drained. Third component would be the rest, and resting at a time that my body wants rest, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. And the fourth consideration is the nourishment, what I eat and what I expose myself to. Those are the foundations of good health. And whether you start at a place where you need the gap is large between where you are and where you want to be, if you get the foundation in place, the pillars in place, then anything that you do above and beyond that is going to be so much more effective. On the other hand, if you don't do the pillars and you are dehydrated and you're not moving, you're not resting, and you're eating poor quality foods and have really bad sensory input, it doesn't matter how much great supplements you're taking or how great your practitioners are. Because without that, and that's the one thing you can do for yourself that your practitioners can't do for you. But if you were to do that for yourself, then you would see leaps and bounds in the results that you're looking for.
Mia's 4 pillars of wellness are foundational, and once these are in place, you can build from there and set new goals. Your wellness clinician can offer the support and coaching you need to get started. I'm sure Mia has inspired you to incorporate the 4 pillars of wellness for yourself. But working with a professional wellness clinician makes the most sense. In the long run, it will save you time and wasted money on products that aren't right for you. Make an appointment and get started. The gift of life is too precious to waste.